welcome everyone to the Irish Breakdown podcast. We have a little bit of an interview edition. As the director of recruiting here at irishbreakdown.com, Ryan Roberts, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of insight into some of the top targets on the board for Notre Dame. We're heavily into, obviously, the 2024 recruiting class. Just had a bunch of kids offered in the 2025 cycle. But I wanted to bring on a young man that is a priority target for Notre Dame in the 2024 cycle out of St. John Bosco out in California. For everybody that doesn't follow high school football a ton, that is one of the powers in college football. State championship, obviously, this past year. I got Kyngstonn Viliamu-Asa with me today. Kyngstonn, appreciate you for hopping on the show, man. How's everything been? I know it's a crazy offseason for you. A lot of schools hitting you up, visits getting set up and everything, man. But how's everything been so far for you guys?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me. Everything's been good. Getting back workouts with the team, and as this 23 class cycle wraps up, and more schools start to focus in on the 24 class.
Yep.
Just letting it play out. Embracing the process and taking it day by day.
Yeah, man. I know it's tough right now, man, because I was looking at your offer list the other day, Kings, and I'm just like, that is just insane. All the schools that are obviously hitting you up right now. And big congratulations to you, obviously, for everything that you have accomplished. I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about the season you guys just had before I get heavy into the recruiting side, though, because I know that you guys just went 13-1. And for people, again, that don't know St. John Bosco too much, you guys played the best teams, not only in California, but you went down to Allen, Texas this year. You went out to, play the team in Hawaii this year. You guys play a lot of great competition. Ended the year 13-1, state championships. Man, how great of a season was that for you and the guys, and just, bringing home, obviously, the championship to St. John Bosco?
Yes, sir. No, it was great. It was great to be able to be out there with my guys. Year in, year out, we play really good competition from all around the country. So I think this past year was definitely a testament to the work we've been putting in as a team. From the winter to the spring to the summer. We put a lot of work in the weight room, on the field, and as a team, we just developed, each other, got each other better every day in practice, and we came up. Proud of my team, man.
I love it, man. I love it. And I know that you're a humble guy, obviously, but you just had a dynamic season, obviously. 111 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and an interception. But Kyngstonn, I know that you also got injured during your sophomore year. So this was a first season back for you from being injured and everything. Just from how awesome was it for you to kind of get back healthy, be a big part of the team's success, obviously, this year?
Yeah. I had a season-ending injury my freshman year. I ended up sitting my whole sophomore year, so this was a big year for me. It meant a lot to me and my family and my teammates. So it was great to be able to be back on the field with my teammates. Again, appreciation for the blessings that I'm able to have, and being on the field with my team was a blessing this year, man. I definitely put in a lot of work with rehab and getting back right. So it was a blessing to be able to play again, man.
And I know that for people, again, that haven't seen the roster at St. John Bosco, you're playing with dudes everywhere, man. Like Peyton Woodyard, obviously, in safety. John Mitchell, I know, is Jason Mitchell, transferred over, obviously, this offseason. You will play with Pierce Clarkson, who's going to Louisville, obviously, at quarterback. What's it like, man, being able to play on a team that, day in and day out, the practices, I assume, are just they're legitimate, they're electric, and you obviously have to bring your best football each day in practice against some of those guys.
Yeah, most definitely. Day in, day out, we got guys, we got 3-star, 4-star, 5-star guys. Every day in practice, you got to bring your best foot forward. And I think that's the great thing about Bosco is we got really good guys at every single position. So you're going against a guy who's as good or better than you, so it gets everybody better.
Yeah, and before I get into the recruiting, Kyngstonn, I wanted to ask you, because I know the only team that beat you guys this year was Mater Dei, and then you guys won in maybe the best game all season, 24-22. What was it like giving them some payback, man, for the lone loss you guys had this year?
Man, it was great. It was a great feeling, man. We can't even explain the feeling that we had at the Rose Bowl that night. After that loss, we had to dial it back down, and we bounced back in the weeks after that. So our leadership stepped up. Our senior leaders, props to them. But it really brought us together as a team, and to finish it off with a bang like that, and it meant everything to us.
Yeah, and that, I mean, again, for people that didn't watch that game, you need to go back and just kind of check some of the highlights of that one, man. 24-22, St. John Bosco over Mater Dei was a fantastic game. Probably the best game of the season, honestly. Well, Kyngstonn, let me get a little bit into the recruiting side. I know that you're a guy that's been on recruiting radars for a long time now. Like, you were getting flooded with offers very early in your high school career. Can you just talk to me about your ability to maybe just kind of manage talking to so many different schools, so much attention, and just try to remain obviously a kid and a student athlete at the same time?
Yeah, I think for me, the process started early on, and I didn't really get stressed over it or like overworked. I just stayed in contact with the coaches that were in contact with me at the same time, handling my schoolwork and my social life at home. So it's just really time management and keeping your priorities straight, for sure.
So far this offseason, I know that you mentioned you were, getting back with the guys and training and get ready, obviously, for the senior year that's going to be coming up very soon. Has that hit you yet, man? I mean, you're only a few months here from being a senior officially. I imagine it's probably flown by a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how far we've come, especially with my guys in the 24 class. I remember in COVID year, we were coming up from 8th graders as freshmen, and now we're about to be seniors. So looking forward to this last year with my guys and leading back to a national championship.
And for the rest of the offseason, Kyngstonn, because obviously I know spring visits, summer visits, what are some maybe important dates to know? Do you have some visits set up? And what are maybe just some schools that are really, you feel like are doing a really good job recruiting you at the moment?
Yeah, right now I'm still got a couple of unofficial visits. Looking to take some official visits in June. And hopefully make a decision before my senior season in the fall.
Love it, man.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's doing a really good job. I'm in contact with those guys consistently. I think Ohio State's doing a great job. Miami, I'm in contact with them a lot, and also UW.
Nice. And kind of maybe more specific from the Notre Dame side, Kyngstonn, if you don't mind, just who are some of your main contacts from the coaching side of things, and just how have those relationships developed over the last few years? I mean, last few months, I should say.
Yeah, I'm in contact with Coach Bowden, Chad, Coach Golden, Coach Freeman, and now Coach Max Bullough and Coach Washington. So Coach Washington, I previously knew from Ohio State. He was recruiting me when he was at Ohio State, and he transitioned to Notre Dame, and that relationship just continued to build. Coach Freeman too. He's tapping in with me and my family every week. And Chad and Coach Golden, we communicate on a consistent basis. So the relationship has just been getting better and better recently.
Man, they got the full court press on you, brother. They got everybody calling you, huh?
Yeah, man, yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Well, Kyngstonn, it's an interesting name that you just said, a name that we know in Notre Dame fandom, but we haven't heard too much of because he just got there. But you mentioned Max Bullough has kind of been in contact with you. I know it's probably been like very brief and kind of a new relationship, but what are your early impressions of Coach Bullough as just a person, as a coach, that type of thing?
Yeah. I've talked to him a couple times on the phone. I think we've been able to build a good foundation. Every week, I think he's real straightforward. He's young and he has some experience with Alabama, so some of the things that he knows defensive wise is correlating to what we do at Bosco. So when we talk ball, we've been able to talk ball about defensive schemes. And we've just been able to pick each other's brains on what we know and what's similar. So looking forward to continue my relationship with him as well.
Yeah. And I know that you already mentioned, the visit to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's doing a great job. This is kind of like a broad question, Kyngstonn, kind of to end this interview is when you're sitting down with your family and you're trying to make the right decision of where you want to go to college, whoever that ends up being, what are some key things that you're really trying to find in a school? Like, what are some of the key factors that you need in a potential school?
One, I think, is player development. I want to be able to be developed into the best linebacker I can be to be able to play in the NFL. Two is academic degree, the academic side of it. I'm looking for sustainability beyond football. So, the importance of the degree that it has in my recruitment, to be able to have something, to take beyond football and as well. And also the people at the university and the relationships I'm able to build, the people I'm going to be around in the environment I'm going to be around, as far as people to make each other better and have a like-minded environment. And also the spiritual aspect of it. I'm very deep in my faith as a Christian, and I want to be in a good environment with great people. Pretty much.
I love it, man. Obviously, great criteria there. Again, joined by Kyngstonn Viliamu-Asa, who is a star linebacker for St. John Bosco 2024 recruiting class, key target for Notre Dame in the 2024 class, and a guy that is going to be on campus here very soon. Kyngstonn, I appreciate this again, man. I know it's super busy for you. I really appreciate you getting back to me and coming on the podcast, brother. I really do appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for having me.